Welcome to another SEO Wisdom podcast with Christian Oland. He's CEO and co-founder at Revgen Labs. He's all about AI sales and growth hacking. So me and him are a very good fit. Had a bunch of cool convos. Thought I'd invite him on the pod here. Revgen Labs is this cool company. We're both building like a reply GPT. Chris has some great ideas and is implemented these. So I love how his brain works and how he thinks about AI pretty much align on that. So today we might geek out on that. We might geek out on some play campaigns and prompts. He's also building this stealth startup. Maybe he'll tell us a bit more about that one today. This pod is presented to you by podpire.com. If you want to start, scale, be invited to podcasts or monetize podcasting, you can go to podpire.com. Chris, welcome to the pod. Tell me a bit more about yourself and Revgen Labs.
Yeah, thanks, man. Again, it's been great having just a good couple conversations, getting super deep into AI and some of the places and directions we think the space is going to. Me personally, I've been in this kind of sales enablement space for like 5, 6 years now, like right at the birth of it, like right when tools like Apollo were starting to, become like just people were just finding out about them. And I've kind of grown that from consulting companies on how to build Apollo infrastructure into eventually the obvious, which is building my own agency, which is Revgen Labs. And again, the tool that you kind of hinted at, which is Rev Reply. But we like to think, at Revgen Labs, we handle lead gen in a different way than most companies. We've got, it's now 17 of us. So we are really heavy into building, creating new tools. Like we're not just one guy shop, going and building something on top of a simple platform. Like we're really trying to build out crazy solutions and be as on the bleeding edge of the knife as possible. So again, we're doing a lot of AI, a lot of triggers, a lot of automations, a lot of impeccable, very thoughtful outreach. And that's kind of what we focus on.
Tell me about some triggers that you're interested or fascinated by nowadays. What triggers do you have in your playbook?
So we work off of like 70 triggers. And I think instead of like maybe thinking about specific triggers, right? Because people are kind of, as they're just kind of coming into this whole trigger space in 2024, people are just getting their feet wet and they're like, okay, well, I'm gonna go and I'm using a tool like Apollo and they've got data on funding and that's gonna be my trigger and that's gonna be my outreach. And the problem with that is, first off, a couple things. One, those triggers are getting really played out. The main ones are getting played out really hard. Two, if you're using some of these tools like Apollo and some of these things, these data providers, you might be the 8 millionth person to be utilizing this piece of data. So the real-time aspect of these triggers is going to be incredibly important. But the way that I'm trying to look at triggers and the way our agency looks at triggers, and I think the way that a lot of people will begin to look at triggers in the next year or two is let's build a master trigger. Let's build a trigger that funnels all triggers into this and see if it's applicable for the person that we need to reach out to. So again, if I'm listening for 70 triggers and I'm hearing 70 different things and I'm doing a campaign for someone in advertising, well, I'm going to listen for product launches. I'm going to listen for companies or maybe like political campaign launches where I'm saying, hey, yeah, this person needs someone to do an advertising campaign for them. So that trigger resonates. Let's reach out to them for that. So it's kind of the inverse is what's the master trigger, I think, in 2024.
Right. So we have job changes, we have technology changes, we have traffic changes. What else do we have here?
Yeah, I mean, the list is pretty endless. Again, like we had talked about one previously, just to stick in this kind of advertising realm where we're scraping data from a bunch of different data providers and we're plugging that through this system of ours. So I can reach out to someone to say, hey, look, I see maybe your web traffic went down last month, but your ad spend went up last month. How are you combating that? Right? So again, as we pump this full of the many different triggers, again, location changes, product announcements, new hire announcements, product launches, like literally, again, 70 things we're listening for. We're kind of filtering through those to get the best data.
When it comes to Clay, what are some of your favorite campaigns that you're launching right now? What are some of these favorite AI lines of yours?
Yeah. With Clay, for me, we utilize a lot of Clay. I mean, Clay is an incredible tool, and it's specifically incredible for us as a team to use it to build really quickly and kind of build like default infrastructure, right? Or build like a game plan for something we may want to then build on our own through tools like N8N and actual coding. But I think some of the ones that are working right now, and again, you see the big names in the space like Eric and Jesse and Jordan and all these great guys talking about things that are relevant to people's LinkedIn postings and things like that. We utilize some of those. The thing that we're always cognizant of is how much information can we get. So like, again, if we're going to do a play like this in Clay, and you're going to run things through GPT and you're going to create custom lines, always go with more information as opposed to less. So make sure you're pulling the company information, make sure you're pulling the person's LinkedIn and their profile, make sure you're pulling any other elements of that you can utilize to kind of sift through with GPT to pull out the best bits. So for us, we're doing a lot of, on Clay, a lot of the basic hiring campaigns, a lot of the LinkedIn postings, a lot of the company LinkedIn postings, and a lot of the recent job changes for us.
What do you have on your goals map for this year? How do you segment your time between the agency and the SaaS?
That's a great question. That's a great question. So we definitely can talk a little bit more about the SaaS, but the tool that we're building is an AI autoresponder. It's in beta right now. It's it's an amazing tool. It acts as a BDR to handle all of your incoming positive responses. And so we've got an agency, and over the years, I've built so many different parts of this, right? I've built a kind of a competitor to the smart leads and the instant leads. I've built a warm-up tool. I've built all of these things. And our agency, quite frankly, is full funnel, right? In that sense, just like all agencies mostly are. Now, we decide, hey, we're going to solve this problem, which I know that you've built something similar, right? Let's solve this problem, which is make sure we get back to positive responses as quickly as humanly possible, because that is like the thing that people slip on the most and lose the most opportunities with. And so we are building that vertically. And we really want to be one of the best in the space. Hopefully you're joining us in that space to solve this problem. And then we will decide in 2024, do we build out horizontally? So do I go back and try and approach all of those other pieces, which we're all solving individually, but build something that really, really, truly is agentic and is the best, as focused as it possibly can get. So we'll see. Again, build vertically on the tool, horizontally on the product, and see if we can kind of do both of them as we continue.
Right. So let's call it 3 hours a day on the SaaS and 8 on the agency.
I'd say 4 hours on the SaaS and 9 to 10 on the agency at the moment. But yes, I'd like to get back down to that type of number.
There you go. So, okay, the campaigns that you have at the moment, which one are performing best? Is it like cold emailing people about SaaS on the front end and then offering them an agency solution? Or is it cold emailing people about the agency and then seeing if you can convert these clients into SaaS?
Yeah, you know what? We're doing a little bit of both. We're keeping them fairly siloed. So again, Rev Reply, our email autoresponder, we are getting people on that just individually. And then for Revgen Labs, we're getting a lot of people on, and if they're maybe not a right fit, maybe if they don't have the budget, we're still saying, hey, we would love to get you on this tool. It's more inexpensive. It's just solving one piece of this puzzle and for your individual needs. So that's what we're doing for Revgen Labs and Rev Reply. For our clients, I think we take a really blended approach. Hey, buddy, you there?
Approaches, yeah.
Okay, so for our clients, we take a very blended approach. So we do a mix, right? And again, you know, some people just work with really good copywriters. Some people go really AI heavy. We like to do some incredible copy for our what we call like an evergreen style campaign, right? Where as long as you're targeting people well, you know, and like bucketing them well and segmenting them well, you're going to get a fairly good, healthy response rate. We like to do a good portion. I would say another third of our outbound emails are, you know, heavily AI written. So a lot of them are fully AI written, which where our performance is on par with just actually writing little segments like a lot of people are doing. So we'll do fully AI written things that are based around triggers and automations. And then our last one, we'll do some sort of like kind of light, airy, like incentivized campaign, like, hey, you know, a little giveaway or something, but something that like is just fun, because I think that this space needs like more injection of creativity and like fun and enjoyment, because yes, you want to solve pain points and yes, you want to hit on those, but I think that there's an element in 2024 where people are just getting email blindness, right? So like you remember in the 2018, 2019, there was like banner blindness, you know, for online advertising. People are getting like that for email. So you got to find ways to like just make them laugh, crack them up, like find something where people are like, you know what, dude, I don't normally respond to this, but like that was pretty funny, or that was fun, or that was cool, you know, and just get people responding like that. So that's kind of how we divide all of ours. And we think that we get a blend, right? You get the people that are high intent with all of these really trigger automation based campaigns. You get kind of the general population on the evergreen copy campaigns, and then you get the people that may not be in the market right now, but like that what you said, and are like, cool, let's have a I'm cool with a 15-minute chat, let's do it. And so you find these people, you know, that have their hands so far down, stuffed in their pockets, that might actually be like, you know what, I'll have a convo with you.
Dude, I love the humor part. I had this humor marketing agency owner on my pods a couple weeks ago, and I was like, dude, I'm gonna launch that, but for cold email. And you don't even need to be funny, you know, like you just need to be quirky. Like myself, I'm quite weird, right? So I just have to be myself, and people will have a laugh, you know. And as a former class clown, I think I have it in me, but it's also something that you can develop, you know. It's like a skill, humor. And then you just have to throw some jokes that are valid for some industries. Not probably not with GPT, most likely with Grok, you know, like Elon's GPT might be a bit more funny and without any barriers. Because GPT is a bit woke, you know. So as soon as you try to be funny with GPT, it's like, oh, you can't say that, you know.
Yeah.
Like fuck that. I'll say whatever I want, and we'll have a laugh. That's what humor is about.
Yeah.
Humor offends people that are not there yet, you know. They haven't developed that flexibility and that open-mindedness. And in the corporate world, everyone's so serious. So if you send these funny emails and you know, not these kitsch corporate icebreaker, but if you're really funny and you speak to that person's humor, you might get an instant connection.
100%. You know, an easy one, and this is so here's a cool book that I read 5 years ago. It was Stu Heineke's How to Get a Meeting with Anyone. The guy was a New York Times cartoonist, and he would send these cartoons personalized to the person with their name on it on this giant board. And like, if you received one of those at your office, which is a little bit weird now at post-COVID, but like if you get something like that, you are going to 100% respond to this guy. And so we always have run campaigns on the side to try and integrate those things. And even like Miles Veth on LinkedIn, he's a good friend. He used to talk a lot about his campaigns, and they would be, you know, again, things that we've picked up over the years, but like socially relevant topics, like right now, if you're emailing someone in the US, you could talk about the Super Bowl and Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, or you could talk about like these things that, you know, people are not super serious. Like, again, we've run campaigns like when there was Strangers Thing fever, or like when there's these kind of topics that become these hyped things for this moment in time, like write an email about it that's like not super relevant, tie it back down, and you'd be amazed at how often you get people to respond.
So you just inspired me for a headline here, which is my goal is to find odd minds like me. And the intro of that's gonna be, yeah, the joke. And what I like also in cold email nowadays is like bullet form of what I'm looking for, right? I think
Yep.
people like that as well because let's face it, cold email most of the time it's a junior sales rep that don't have a clue about what's going on around the world or what even is business, and people are like, ah, not another of these brainless idiot trying to reach out to me. So what they like is people that stand firm, that have values and know what they want. So if you start the email with some kind of joke and then you're like, yo, I'm looking to work with these type of minds, like people that want to reach 1 billion in their lifetime, people that have an open mind, people that are honest, people that are loyal, da, da, da. And then you have like a list of your ideal clients. Well, it's quite easy for them to be like, okay, I'm a fit for that or I'm not. And no one does that shit, Like I think it was Russell Brunson at some point that had that in its landing page. The dude was like, yeah, this is the type of client I want, and this is the type of client I don't want. And that was always a great approach in marketing. It just signals to your potential buyer what you're about and if you're fit or not.
Yeah, I think that's great, man. I think that I think there was a while, let's say 2 years ago, where people were like, oh, don't bullet point. It looks like someone wrote it in a Word doc. And what I'm finding and what I've been saying since 2018 is this all of this shit, sorry, pardon my French, all of this stuff is cyclical, right? Like I would promise you, like I used to use this company called Punk Post to send these really like creative letters. And if you saw something on someone's LinkedIn where they said, oh, I love Harry Potter or something, you could have them draw a little something in there that was like that. And we would send out these cards that did that. And I think that, anyways, I think that like what we're gonna see is everything is cyclical. So what didn't work or what was said you shouldn't do this a couple years ago will come back and be like, yes, I love that directness. Like, yes, I know everyone's getting sequenced now. I don't care. This guy is resonating with me. So I think that exploration should always be a good chunk of what you're doing with your clients.
Right, and you gave me another idea. I don't know where that one came from, but I would just like snapshot a picture of my haircut of today and like send them that as an intro and link that with a joke. And then it's a nice icebreaker, right? It's like laughing at yourself. And yeah, an image. How odd is it for someone to send you like a cropped picture of their haircut? Maybe have them laugh and images. I've been sending images, lately, and I maybe gifs even sometime if they're funny, that is. So it's about being odd. I feel nowadays it's about interrupting pattern, and I think that AI will suck for a while at that. Grok might be interesting though. Like if Elon does not restrict it and lets it go wild, I think Grok could be quite the partner to write my next emails.
Yeah. Grok is fun. I remember someone right at the beginning of AI popped off with this crazy campaign because he was saying in the prompt to just sound like a millennial. And for whatever reason, people loved it. But I like what you said about the pictures. I think those are coming back too, if you can get them in with deliverability. We're toying around with a campaign right now where we just grab LinkedIn photos, we drop it in Mid-Journey, we turn them into like a superhero or Indiana Jones or whatever, and it takes like 2 seconds, and you can send this cool thing back that people want to share. Like even if they don't like what you have to say, they're like, hey, I'm going to send my kids this picture of me as Indiana Jones, like this is cool. So I think exploration and enjoyment and creativity is going to be super key in getting around things in 2024.
Chris, where can people find out more about you online?
Yeah, I mean, look, we didn't really talk about the tool RevReply. Feel free to go and sign up for RevReply. And then, obviously Revgen Labs, feel free to reach out. I run a bunch of classes for VC-backed accelerator programs, for entrepreneur programs, where I'll go in and just talk about the face of lead gen and how you need to how you can utilize cold email to make money, how it can drive leads. The million things you need to watch out for in 2024, because literally it's a stack of dominoes, and if one is missing, the whole thing is just, you're screwed. And so Revgen Labs, LinkedIn, reach out. RevReply, go sign up, hit me up on LinkedIn. I'll get you on the beta. It's an incredibly, the autoresponder itself is it's wild. It has layers of introspection. It thinks like a human. Like, it's not a base level AI thing. It's incredible. So would love to have anyone hit me up to ask about that. Outside of that, yeah, just hit me up on LinkedIn. Always available. I'll invite you to our groups and our private chats if you want to get involved in the industry, or if you're looking for someone to manage your campaigns.